Hello friends and welcome back to another video of the AI series. In this video we are going to be talking about natural language processing. Are you able to recognize speech or did you think I just asked if you would go and recognize speech? Understanding which words have been spoken can be tricky, and that's why speech recognition is a big part of artificial intelligence. It's one of those things that we didn't think computers could do, and now they can. I want you to have a firm grasp of the possibilities of natural language processing so that you can spot where it's being used, where it's not, and where you might put it to work. Speech recognition is the first step in natural language processing, and it starts with sounds picked up by a microphone, which are turned into waveforms that look like an earthquake on a seismograph. For example, this is the waveform of word butterfly and pumpkin pie. You can see that they're similar but quite different. And as seen in the previous example, speech and a nice speech are very close but different. Natural language processing looks at these waveforms and applies acoustic models to separate voice from other noises, like a hammer or a barking dog, and then it tries its best to match that particular waveform to a particular word. When phones first started using voice input, you were instructed to say 10 or 15 words several times in a row so that the phone could familiarize itself to your voice, your accent, your speech pattern. One of the curious problems data scientists faced at the beginning was that people would talk to their phones as if they were robots. The problem? Everybody has a different idea of how a robot listens. Nearest Starbucks and closest coffee shop don't sound anything like what you would when you speak normally. Make a list of how you might not want to communicate with a computer with your voice. Microwave my coffee for 30 seconds is a waste of time compared to hitting the 30-second button. Turn on the left indicator instead of just pushing the lever. There's a lot of opportunity in computer human interface career and thinking that voice is be all and end all. That's just having a hammer and seeing everything that looks like a nail. Computers are getting better at figuring out which words are spoken, and that's good a start. But then the computer has to figure out what you mean. This is a much harder task and requires a lot of human brain power to get this component of natural language processing right. So it's a field that has a lot of opportunity if you're interested in it. For example, there are lots of different ways to say the same thing. There are many alternative methods to communicate similar messages. There are numerous sets of words that can convey comparable ideas. You get the point. You understand. But all of those statements mean the same thing. You also understand that when a 14-year-old says a certain movie is sick, they really liked it. But when my 80-year-old father says that the movie is sick, he means it's ultra violent. So the machine needs to be trained. You start with a corpus. A corpus is a large, well documented, structured set of texts for validating linguistic rules. It's an ultra meta dictionary. Also, phrases and sentences and the sentence fragment are annotated, labeled by humans, starting with whether a word is a noun, a verb, an adjective, and going all the way to telling the computer that a cool cat is a hip person and not a real cat. With this collection of words, phrases, and their meanings, the computer can do strategical analysis and hypothesis testing. That way, it can be trained to look at an unlabeled sentence and make sense of it. The more words, phrases, sentences, and full article a computer studies, the better it gets at interpreting what is written. Will it ever be perfect? No. Even humans disagree on the written words so often that an entire industry was founded to argue about it in ancient Athens. Today, we call them lawyers. So, natural language processing begins with understanding what words are being spoken, then becomes a matter of turning that text into meaning. New ways of interpreting what people mean are being invented all the time. That is an area wide open for people who enjoy doing that kind of research. Maybe it can also be you. If so, dive into linguistics, statistical modeling, and computer science because all kinds of companies hire natural language processing people. Now, let's see what is sentiment. How are you? It's the most common question we ask each other, and it's really hard for a computer to tell the difference between fine, 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 or great, great, great. Machines. They're getting better at their ability to understand sentiments, but there's still much more to be done in this field. Sentiment. Now, what is sentiment? A sentiment is an attitude, a thought, or a judgment promoted by feelings. It is essentially the meaning behind the word, not the word itself. Humans are very perspective or sentiment. That's a emotional intelligence. But computers don't have emotions or feelings, so they can't easily recognize sentiment. Consider the difficulty in working out the fact that some people call it soda, and some people say soda pop, and some people just say pop. Depending on where you are in the country, you could be referring to a beverage or your own father. Not only that, there's trouble with interpreting idioms like going on a wild goose chase, or judging a book by its cover, or pulling someone's leg. Sentiment recognition is useful for figuring out if thousands of people talking about you or your company online are happy, sad, or angry. Is the depth of their feelings going up or down? One customer service rep can't read thousands of daily emails to decide if customers are getting madder or happier with the products, but the computer can. Perhaps it would be good if the company that used a voice response system when you called for support knew right off the bat that you're not happy. They could send you to a customer service representative immediately. So think about where you would like to see sentiment computed properly. Perhaps it's in a device like chatbot or marketing analytic tools or industries that are embracing AI, education sector, or perhaps even the medical sector. Training machines to recognize sentiment is a worthy and highly sought after skill. So look for ways that you can grow in that direction only if it interests you. With this, we come to the end of this video. To continue to see our AI series, I hope you enjoyed this video. Do like, share, and subscribe. Signing off.